Good morning, everyone. I am Letitia Humphreys in with your update on Hurricane Erin. Now, the Tropical Storm Watch and the Tropical Cyclone Alert has been discontinued for the Leeward and the British Virgin Islands. Once that area of interest exits our monitored area, we can see it here marked in green. We no longer issue the Tropical Cyclone Alert statement. Now, at 11 a.m., Hurricane Erin was located about 19.7 degrees north, 62.8 degrees west, which is just about 105 miles to the north of Anguilla. Here we see Anguilla just to the north of this yellow area. So it is the 105 miles to the north of Anguilla. Barbuda now, it is just about 159 miles to the north-northwest of Barbuda. Erin continues to travel towards the west as a major hurricane, and it is moving at a speed of around 17 miles per hour. So it has slowed down a bit. This morning it was moving at around 20 miles per hour, and presently it is moving at 17 miles per hour. Continue to drop its pressure and strengthen. So at 11 a.m. it was a Category 4 hurricane, and then a subsequent advisory came out at 11:20 indicating that the Hurricane Hunter has sampled winds suggesting that Erin is now a Category 5 hurricane. Category 5 hurricane means it is having sustained hurricane force winds of greater than 156 miles per hour. So we continue to monitor the progress of Erin as it continues away from expected to remain a major hurricane. Now, Erin is actually expected on this chart. It showed earlier that Erin should have been a Category 4 status, but the new update, as I mentioned, would have shown that Erin is now a Category 5 hurricane, but expected to stay safely to the north of the area as it moves off into the northwest. In terms of what is happening across our area, there is a high surf advisory that is in effect for portions of the British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, Barbuda, Antigua, St. Kitts, Nevis, and Montserrat. These are as a result of swells associated with Erin coming out of the northeast, and they are up to around 2.1 meters or 7 feet. There's also a high surf warning that is in effect for some areas. For Barbuda in particular, Anguilla, and the British Virgin Islands, this high surf warning is in effect until around midday for Barbuda. It is up to around this afternoon for Anguilla and British Virgin Islands. It will expire by tonight. Now we have some swells up to around 13 feet, yes, 13 feet, as a result of the energy associated with Hurricane Erin coming out of the northeast. So for those beaches, particularly on the northern side of the island, we're asking persons to stay away from the coastline because there is the danger of rip currents as well as those dangerous breaking surfs. So please stay away from the coastal areas until Erin is safely out of the area, and these advisories and warnings have been discontinued. Now here is a closer look at Erin. We can clearly see the center of that system, or what we call the eye, associated with Erin progressing across the area. We are here across the Leeward and the British Virgin Islands, and the cloud associated with Erin spreading across our area, giving us some cloudy skies at this time. Now this one in particular is showing me the clouds associated, or the type of clouds associated with Erin. We're seeing a lot of those popcorn looking like clouds. Those are what would give us the thunderstorm activity. So St. Kitts, Barbuda, even the British Virgin Islands experiencing a bit of thunderstorm activity as we speak. But for Antigua and Barbuda, although we do have some spots around, we're not experiencing any, or we haven't heard any thunder across our area this morning. You can clearly see the defined eye of Hurricane Erin as it makes its way across the Atlantic. Erin continues to gain strength. It has undergone what we call rapid intensification, where you see an increase in the hurricane speed or the strength of the hurricane of at least 30 knots within a 24-hour period. So just yesterday, Erin was at Category 2 status, and this morning it was upgraded to a Category 5 status. So Erin continues and is expected to continue strengthening as it moves across the Atlantic. Now here is the radar imagery overlaid over the cloud mass. So we're seeing the showers associated with Erin. We're here in Antigua. The white is indicating the clouds, and the greens and the yellows indicating the rainfall activity. So across the British Virgin Islands, Anguilla, St. Kitts, Nevis, Barbuda, and just the northern portion of Antigua is getting skirted by some of that rainfall. Montserrat here in that void, so the white, we're seeing the clouds, but not really much rainfall as you would notice on the outside. We're not seeing as a lot of rainfall. Even Guadeloupe is receiving some rainfall associated with those outer rain bands from Erin. We see even towards the east, those greens indicating the shower activity. Now let's zoom in a little bit closer on the radar as to what exactly, because I'm sure persons are wondering what is happening on the outside, especially for us here in Antigua. We see just skirting the rainfall is just skirting the northern portions. We were seeing some rainfall activity here at the airport just a while ago. That is as a result of the just the tip. We're getting just a tip of rainfall activity. So the majority of the island at this time, you're just seeing some cloudy skies. If you're noticing any rainfall at all, it is really, really light. Montserrat also, similar conditions, but St. Kitts and Nevis and Barbuda, just close by, they're seeing a lot more activity. So over the last 24 hours, Barbuda would have recorded almost 2 inches of rainfall, whereas in Antigua, we have not, we're just about maybe around half of an inch of rainfall over the last 24 hours. So we definitely will continue to monitor these bands, because as that system continues to spin, there could be a southerly inflow of that moisture, and we could also see some more rainfall developing across our area. Now, here is a broader view of the Atlantic. So what exactly is coming behind Erin? We have 2 tropical waves that we definitely want to be vigilant about. We're going to be monitoring the progress of these systems as they continue across the Atlantic, because as we know, we are entering, or we're getting closer to the peak of the hurricane season, so we expect to see an increase in tropical cyclone activity. Here we can see one just moving off of the coast of Africa looking quite active, so we will continue to keep an eye on it, no pun intended, but here we can see the eye of Erin as it continues across the Atlantic. Now some associated impacts. We mentioned the high surf advisory earlier and the high surf warning. So along with the breaking surfs or the increase in the energy at the coastlines, you could be getting some rip current activity. So if you're at the beach and you happen to see some shallow areas of the water moving back out into the sea, you want to stay clear of that area, because you could get trapped in that just narrow stream of the wave, the water going back out, and you could be pulled out to sea, and you definitely don't want to be caught in that situation. Now, there is also the potential for some moderate sand erosion, as we have those breaking waves on the seashore, pulling some of the sand back out with it. And there is still the potential for heavy rainfall, especially across the British Virgin Islands and Anguilla, as the forecast is for about 2 to 4 inches of rainfall over the next 24 hours or 24 to 48 hours. There could also be some gusty winds accompanied with this heavy rainfall or the downpours, so not sustained tropical storm force winds. We're not expecting to see any tropical storm force winds across the area associated with Hurricane Erin. However, if we do have heavy rainfall downpours, you could get some gusty conditions. Now, just to summarize what we would have spoken about, the tropical cyclone alert and the tropical storm watch has been discontinued for the Leeward and the British Virgin Islands. Heavy rainfall is still possible across portions of the Leeward and the British Virgin Islands. As we currently speak, there is heavy rainfall occurring across Anguilla, Barbuda, St. Kitts Nevis, and later on expected across the British Virgin Islands. You could get some gusty conditions associated with these downpours. The seas are expected to remain hazardous, so please pay attention to the advisories and the warnings until they are discontinued. Continue to monitor with us and stay prepared as we continue into the 2025 hurricane season. I'm Letitia Humphreys. Enjoy the rest of your day.